Hey, it's attorney Anthony Bandiero here, bringing you the Roadside Chat from the road. This video is coming from LA Haida. Again, I want to thank my host at LA Haida for a wonderful week teaching cops from all around Southern California. We will be back here next year. And if you're a Southern California cop and you want to go to our training, hopefully you're signed up for the LA Haida emails. They do a great job letting cops know some fantastic training that they're hosting. So so look at those emails and also at the Blue to Gold website. This question comes from an officer who says, hey, I have, I see a vehicle that I know is a guy who's involved in narcotics trafficking. He leaves a drug house. I stopped the car for traffic violations. This guy has been recently arrested just 2 weeks ago for manufacturing cocaine. And I want to know, can I frisk him, and the vehicle for weapons, right? And he said, you talk about gang members, we can pat them down pretty easily, right? We can articulate that street gangs are known for their violence and, the courts understand that they often carry weapons. But what about the drug dealer? And I thought it was a great opportunity. You know what? Bring out Old Blue, right? The Search and Seizure Survival Guide, the best-selling search and seizure book in America, and I'm very proud of it, and it's always updated constantly. But so I brought out Old Blue, and I said, look, let's look at what I say in here, right? I talk about pat downs for weapons, and one of the cases, let me talk to what's required, right? We have to have reasonable suspicion that the person you're patting down is armed, and dangerous, right? So those two factors, right? Good old classic Terry versus Ohio. So I do have an example in here that I think is relevant, okay, in this book. I say, drug dealing and weapons go hand in hand. And the quote from this case, which is People versus Simpson, 65 California Apt, 4th, 854. It's a case from 1998. And it says, illegal drugs and guns are a lot like sharks and remoras. A remora, if I'm saying that correctly, hopefully I am, but a remora is a fish that often swims along with sharks and gobbles up all the breadcrumbs that fall out of the shark's mouth, right? And just as a diver who spots a remora is well advised to be on the lookout for sharks, an officer investigating cocaine and marijuana sales would be foolish not to worry about weapons. So the courts understand that drugs and guns go together, and oftentimes the cop can articulate, based off their training experience, that drug dealers often have to have weapons of some kind, whether it's blades, blunt objects, guns, and so forth, to protect them from other rivals, and also to potentially, be offensive, right? To take over other people's areas and so forth. It's just the way it is in the drug trade, right? Drug dealers don't have a police department that they can call and say, hey, my business is being robbed, will you help me? Instead, they have to help themselves, and that's how they do it with their weapons. But I also want to let you guys know that, in 2021 and beyond, we should not be going around and simply saying that, Your Honor, drugs and guns go together. I can do an automatic pat down of a person who is involved in drug sales. We don't want to do that because we want to work smarter, not harder. Courts do not like it when cops use this type of automatic anything with the Fourth Amendment. Instead, what we want to do is articulate, why does a cop believe, right, that this particular person may be armed and dangerous? Well, here, the guy just got hooked up 2 weeks ago for trafficking narcotics. He just left a known drug house. He's allegedly, looks like he's still in the game, right? So he hasn't changed his ways since the last bust. And then you add in the training experience about, what's going on out there. You've seen videos of drug dealers and so forth shooting at each other. And you get my point. Now, before I go on, though, I want you to know that drug users and weapons do not necessarily go together. I don't think the courts make that leap too often, right? So drug dealers, way easier. Drug users, I think you're gonna need something specific about them, to something more than just the fact that they're engaged and involved in some kind of narcotics, to justify a pat down. We're talking about, you see a bulge, they're favoring one side, they have recent weapons offenses and so forth, all right? So there's your answer, and I hope it helps. So the answer, in a nutshell, patting down drug dealers and their vehicle is often pretty easy. By the way, I didn't answer that part. The officer wanted to know about the vehicle. The vehicle is covered by a case called Michigan versus Long. If a police officer has reason to believe that there's weapons in the vehicle and that weapon can be used against the officer, they get to go into the weapon and search those areas where the occupant can gain access, right? So generally speaking, the passenger compartment and containers where the weapon could be secreted, right? So hope it helps. All right, guys, before you leave, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, comment below, and share with your friends. Let's get more cops trained in search and seizure so they make the right decision every single time. All right, thank you.